Empowering entrepreneurs where you belong. Grow your brand, lead the way. On Fired Up Fridays, we light up the day. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat. Earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lorri, we ignite. Online presence, stand up tall. Organic marketing, we cover it all. Engaged communities, connection deep. We're Fired Up Fridays, success you'll reap. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat. Earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lorri, we ignite. Online presence, stand up tall. Organic marketing, we cover it all. Engaged communities, connection deep. With Fired Up Fridays, success you'll reap. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat. Earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lorri, we ignite. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat, earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lorri, we ignite.
Oh, I can't.
Nothing like not having my mic on when I actually go live. I feel like every Friday is a hot mess when we come on live, but we make it on. But we make it on here. That's the
Yes, we
important thing.
do. And that's where you can't like you just do it. You just what is it? Just send it.
Yeah, just send it. Just
And
send
it's
it.
also the day after Halloween, so there is that.
You know what? There is that. There is that, by the way, and that is definitely a for real thing.
Yeah.
That is a for real thing.
Tying that into the whole marketing thing and that's right. I took my kids out and they're like, well, I don't know, should we knock on this door? Like, sometimes it's like the garage lights are on, but the door light isn't. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, should you? Like, this is sales in the making. It's like the worst they can say is no, they don't have candy, or not answer. And
Oh yeah.
candy was a very motivating factor for my kids last night to be like, let's just knock on all the doors. I said, well, no, like if no lights are on, we're not.
Yeah, no lights are on. That's hilarious.
Do you guys get a decent amount of trick-or-treaters, or
No, we get zero trick-or-treaters because you've been to the house, so you know how it is.
That's
So where the house is situated, it's a very long, dark driveway. Plus, there's no sidewalks over by our side of the street. So it's just, I would, if I was a trick-or-treating, I would not send my kid up our driveway. It's dark and scary.
You guys should make that whole entire thing an alleyway.
Yeah, I know,
Haunted
right?
alleyway. Yeah.
We should. We absolutely should. Yeah, so we don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters. I did go over to my brother's, though, to his place in Morristown, New Jersey here. I went to it to go hand out candy to the kids to his office, and I was sitting there the whole time working and everything, but like no kids came by, and just as like, oh, I gotta go home, I gotta make dinner. Then all of a sudden all the kids start coming by. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's not happening. I guess I'm not. So I have a whole bunch of Halloween candy at my house. FYI, if anybody wants to come over.
Party at Chris's, right?
Yeah, for real.
Going up the alley.
Yeah, exactly. We got to light up the alley here.
Well, welcome to Fired Up Friday. It is going to be a caffeinated day for me and Chris. It
is a caffeinated day for sure, because I am sitting here still trying to get all my stuff. I was on the air all morning long over on Radio Garden State. So I was doing my Arena Rock Friday show. We got Jersey Fest happening tomorrow. I had my mastermind group that I run for marketers and creators as well. So I've been like literally like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I gotta get water. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta do a whole bunch of things. Lorri, here's the link for today. So it's been a fired up Friday for sure. But we are fired up because listen, guys, for everybody watching, first of all, thank you all so much for joining us here today. As we go along, and we've been doing these Fired Up Fridays, we always come up with a topic that we're focused on, but we do also want to hear from you. So feel free to throw questions into the chat. Yes. We're happy to answer them. We're live on my streams. We're live on Lorri's streams. I think Lorri's over on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I got YouTube going. And plus, for those of you inside our group, the Creative Marketing Corner, where this live stream originated, we are in there for you guys too. So yes, please feel free, all the members in that group.
We owe Melissa a message.
We do owe Melissa a message. So Melissa, thank you for reaching out. If you guys would like to join the Creative Marketing Corner, it is free. We talk all things organic marketing. This is our free community that Lorri and I do. I did drop the link into a few of the spots where we're at, but if you want access to the group and you want the link, DM me, DM Lorri, whatever. If you're outside of the group and you want to get in, like I said, it's 100% free. We will send you the link to get in. So, Lorri, there's been a lot of conversation going on, obviously, inside our group. And as we've been coming on every Friday, we're talking about organic marketing. We've talked about a bunch of things in our past videos. We've talked about how to reach out, how to generate leads from your network, what's the proper way of sending a DM, how to send voice messages, how to build a strategy. I mean, we've been going on and really sharing all the stuff that we've been talking about. You brought up a great point because you actually got reached out by someone within your network. Yeah. And they made a really great point, and you said this is something we should talk about because it's not something we've discussed in all our videos yet. So I think this is a good time to bring this up. Yeah.
And it's actually not even just this conversation in particular, but it's a question that comes up often. And you and I have actually even talked about this a lot where the question is like, what is marketing and how do we actually tie it to ROI?
Yeah. What is marketing?
What is marketing? What is that? Like marketing is so vague. And also this applies to entrepreneurs because Chris and I are having a lot of conversations with entrepreneurs and with founders as far as, hey, let's kickstart your marketing. Let's get these things going. Right. We've got cohorts starting. We're doing one-to-one services together sort of deal. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm really busy. It seems to be a nice to have. Like it's just something that I'm not really needing right now. And so it also though works with those who are in companies as marketers. And that's why marketing is the first thing that usually gets cut because it seems to be like a nice to have, not a need to have.
Right. Great point.
It's like, so what is it and how do we tie it to ROI? Yeah. How do we say this is the bottom line and how we affect it?
Yeah, it's a really great point because it is one of the first things that usually gets cut and slashed. And I think it's like, oh, this is a luxury. I don't really need marketing. I could and the thing is, it's not something that is an option. It's not an option because in one way or the other, you're doing marketing. What it comes down to is what's getting cut is the actual budget. So what are you spending on marketing per month? And this is where you have to look at what are the sales you want to be making, right? What's the numbers? Like how much money do you need in your company? I'm talking to all of you guys right now. I'm looking right down the list. All of the hands are going. The Italian stuff's going on right now. But seriously, how much money do you want to make each and every month, year? How much do you want to be paying yourself? Right? How much money do you need to make that company run? Right? So understanding that number, or numbers, whatever you want to call it, is essential because that is then how you're going to determine what you want to spend on marketing because you're going to say, well, I need to make this money. How am I going to do it? Yeah. How are you going to do it? How are you going to get clients? How are you going to get prospects? How are you going to get in front of more of those people? That's where the marketing comes in, right? And that's where it's like, well, sales aren't just going to come because you're staring at the phone or you put up a post on LinkedIn occasionally, or, you send out like an email once every quarter. Like, that's not going to happen, guys. That's not like consistent marketing. That's not consistent messaging. That's not talking to people. And really, at the end of the day, marketing's about the conversations you're having with your community, like what we're doing here. This is marketing. This is like a big part of mine and Lori's marketing plan to talk to all you guys. Like, we're having this conversation with you on a weekly basis live on top of being in the group. But like, this is the marketing. And so when you talk about how much money you want to make, how much money you're spending a month, that's what you really want to be looking at, is your marketing budget. And then if the money part, and this is where Lori is going to, the money part isn't something you can afford right now, well, then what's the other side then that you can afford?
Yeah.
If there's no money, then you have to put
the time.
Time.
Yes.
Time. And that's where you have to weigh it. So
yeah. Well, that's right. So in different conversations, people think about marketing. They think, oh, like doing reels on social media, blog posts, SEO, that kind of stuff. And that's a part of it. That's a part of it. But people forget like the outreach, the conversations that you're having. Yeah. That's just one, that's content marketing. Then you've got email marketing and newsletter marketing, and you have conversation marketing, and and all these things. And really go to market. We'll talk about that. That's why I picked go to market as like my specialty.
GTM.
Because go to market actually involves the marketing, the conversation, starting the conversations. And if we think of it as the funnel, the top of funnel, brand awareness, getting people to recognize you, building that brand as a entrepreneur, as a founder, as a company itself. Every point of contact and engagement you have with somebody, that is part of marketing. Branding is a part of marketing. And then you've got your messaging and the outreach and the conversations. So you've got that marketing, but it also includes sales.
Right.
People think go to market and they think that it is marketing, but it's the CEO actually should own the go to market kind of thing, because it is marketing, and then it is the sales, but then it's also the experience, the VIP experience that people get on the other side, whether they buy or not, kind of thing too. And so the marketing part of it is the conversations that are started, and how you do that. There's an incredible amount of organic and paid options to do it. How does that lead to the bottom ROI? Well, you're not going to have people purchasing, or your sales process is going to be really, really long if you don't have good marketing. The marketing sets the conversations up so that people are coming to you wanting to learn more about you, kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you look at, like, you can say, well, what is my ROI at the end of the day? And sometimes people are like, very like, I don't understand what my ROI is. I don't know. I spend all this time on stuff, but I think it's actually very easy to measure when you think about it. Like, some people want to say, well, my sales didn't go up this month. I spent all this time marketing, and my sales didn't go up. I didn't close any clients. I didn't get any inquiries. Okay, fair enough. That's one way to measure ROI. Right. And there are some parts of the process where you can say, well, how can you put an ROI on this or that? But, with marketing, you can put an ROI up. But this is where then you have to look at. So then now the question is to ask, like, okay, so those things didn't happen. What did you do for the month? What was the activity that was done? And now let's look at it objectively. Let's look at the data. Okay, you did all this activity, whatever it is. Let's just say email marketing. I posted on LinkedIn twice a week. I got into XYZ conversations. I went to these networking events. I did a video. I was on Chris and Lori's Fired Up Friday, all this stuff. I had a call to action. I did all these things, and none of it turned into any actual sales at the end of the month, at the end of the 30-day cycle or whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to go, well, all right. Now the question is, why didn't that happen? What of that activity did you do, and how did you do it? So it's a breadcrumb trail. You got to follow the breadcrumbs. And this is where going back and looking at the data objectively will help you determine, well, maybe the activity that you were doing was not the right activity. Maybe the time spent, while you spent the time, were you talking to the right people? Were you in front of the right people? Was the content right? Was your call to action resonating? Like, these are all the things to look at as to then say why. It's not so much the marketing didn't work, because you had the activity, but was the marketing aimed correctly? Was the right message there? Was it focused to the right client? And that's the thing that you really need to look at. Not that, oh my God, I did all this marketing, I spent all this time, it didn't work. Marketing doesn't work.
Well, it could be like, like you just said, like, what was the message? And are you actually speaking to the right person? And you might be speaking to the right person, but are you actually talking to the pain points they have? And so that's where, have you done customer validation? Have you talked to the people who have done business with you? Have you figured out where you serve the best? And have you spoken to that challenge that they're going through? And so that's where marketing is also the conversations with people about where you are, where you want to be, what's keeping you from getting there. That's also a part of the marketing sort of deal. And when we say, we've done all this stuff and marketing doesn't work, I also think that, there are, you can't necessarily track some of the different things that you're doing. But I think that a lot of times, marketers have gotten to the point where they're like, oh, well, like, you can't track anything because it's all like, just brand awareness. And I think that's kind of a lazy. You have to be able to track what you're doing. If any marketer says, oh, well, like, nothing I do, there's no attribution kind of thing. Like, you have to have the North Star of like, what is the goal for the month? And if it is sales, then you have to know, okay, how many people do I need to be talking? What is your sales conversion rate?
Right. Break it down.
And that's where sales and marketing argue all the time.
It's always going to be that way.
As an entrepreneur, sales and marketing can't argue because you are the salesperson and you are
right. I was just going to say, when you're a solopreneur, when you're in it on your own and you're everything, you can't spend a lot of time arguing, but what you can do is sit down and look at the data. Once again, where was the activity? What did you do? What was said? And here comes something that Lorri and I will say forever and ever, because it's not even something we say, it's something that everybody says, but don't lose sight of it. Did you serve versus sell? And I'm not saying like that the sale or the call to action, like I'm talking about sell in the sense of like, was the post that you're having all coming from a sales perspective? Was it just all about selling? Were the conversation you had all about selling? Like, oh, well, I've got this and I do this and I do, and I buy, you could buy this. Like, was that how you led the conversations? Because if that's how you were leading these conversations, whether they're on social media, in your email marketing, in your posts, well, that's a really good indicator of why no one's actually, quote unquote, buying from you, because that's not what you want to use those mediums for. Obviously, if you have a shop. So let's just say, the things are different. Like, hey, you're a creator and you're on TikTok and you have a TikTok shop, right? Okay. But still, at the end of the day, like, you can make those things creative, but that's an example of like, hey, I made this creative thing and I'm using this whatever product in my video, having fun, and there's a link on the bottom to buy it. Great. Cool. But like, a lot of what we're doing and a lot of the people that we're talking to are in service-based businesses. They're in the service-based business. Maybe they have a widget or a product that they're selling, but still a lot of those products, the services, are a little bit more layered, a little more complex. Therefore, looking at the person who's making the purchasing decision at the end of the day isn't so much like a click here, buy now decision maker in that sense. And so you really have to develop a relationship and you really got to zero in on what it is that you offer is a thing that's going to solve the problem for them. And you have to kind of, this is where you don't do all the things sort of deal. Don't go, okay, I'm going to market and I'm going to start, a Instagram channel and a TikTok channel and a YouTube channel and a LinkedIn channel. I'm going to do it all.
And then I'm also going to start a newsletter. I'm also going to start a podcast. Like, you don't do all the things, but pick, and that's, again, I will die on the hill that you need to be talking to your customers, or even the potential customers. Like, you have to, because you got to figure out where they are and where they're hanging out, what channels they are interested in, and don't tell me that, like, TikTok is nobody's on TikTok, or like, people are somewhere, and if you don't ask them, you're not gonna find that out. But pick something. But you do have certain levers that you've got to pull. You've got to, you can't just make a whole bunch of reels and post it on Instagram and be like, look, I did marketing and it didn't work. So like there has to be then, like, what is the next step? There has to be the flow. Marketing has to flow into a conversation. Right. And so, if you're writing blog posts, well, are you also then talking and commenting and connecting with other people who are blogging? Or what is the other aspect of marketing that is getting people to the blog, sort of deal? I kind of look at it like, like a web. Where do you want people to go? Where's the hub of where you want people to be? And then go from there to, okay, what channel are you going to go that's going to then point to that place? And what do you want them to do there? What is the call to action? I talk a lot about that when I'm looking at LinkedIn profiles. What is the one thing you want them to do after they see your profile? So you make a whole bunch of reels. What do you want them to do? Give them the next step, sort of thing. And so, so there's different levers that you've got to pull in order for your marketing to be a workflow kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a simple call to action, right? What do you want people to do? Is it book a 15-minute call? Is it follow my podcast? Is it sign up for my newsletter? Is it download my free UVP builder? I don't know, get a free, I don't know, whatever it is, right? I mean, it could be anything, but have a call to action. Like, what do you want somebody to do? And then the thing that's pointing, is it relevant to what they just consumed as far as content goes? But there's nothing like the call to action. So many times we see things, Lorri and I, and we're like, hey, this is great, but what was your call to action? Like, great, I watched this. What do you want me to do?
What
do you
next?
Want me to? Is the call to action just like and comment? Cool. Leave a comment below. Answer this question. Take my poll. I can be so simple, but like, give someone an action step, because the next step creates the engagement one way or the other that you want. Sign up for my list. I don't know, whatever. Take my quiz. I mean, there's so many of them, and it's like, what's the most relevant for you? But make it consistent. It could be of 3 to 4 different calls to action that you use, but the thing is, all leading back to whether it's, like I said, my podcast, my mailing list, just follow our account for more videos like this. Like, that kind of stuff is what you want to be doing. And so often I see posts, content with no call to action on it whatsoever. So it's like, okay, cool. That was cool, but great. I don't know what to do now. I mean, I guess I'll follow you, but you know what? Tell me to follow you then. I'll be like, oh, cool. Yeah, that was funny. I am going to follow you. Oh, more videos like this. That was cool. Follow.
Yeah. Well, and even then in the, like, don't wait till the end, because some people aren't, some people get distracted. Some people, like, the kids run up. And so just be like, hey, first, like, click like and follow, and then move into the actual message. And then you need to also then follow up with people too. And that's the outreach part. I'm a huge believer in the outreach of marketing. It is the engagement. It is the connection. It is the conversations. Conversational marketing turns into conversions.
Wait, what? Wait, really?
And you can, make posts on LinkedIn and, put videos on YouTube. And I'm always going to refer to the analogy of, like, it is like dumping bait into your boat and hoping fish will jump in, and even hoping the right fish will jump in. But that's where marketing is figuring out who your ideal client is, how you serve them, what pain point they are going through. And then it is having that conversation with them as to figuring out where they are, where they want to be, how you can help, and if now is a good time to help them. And then all this content that you've got that's your backup. That is it. When they go, okay, well, can you really help me? That's when they're going to do the research. That's you showing up and adding value to people.
Yeah.
But I really believe that we are definitely moving towards a conversation marketing era where people don't just see an ad and click and buy. They're going to see an ad, they're going to see your face, they're going to see your name, and they're going to go look and see if you've got the credibility, or are you doing what you're telling them they should be doing. I had a conversation about that this week. It was like, okay, well, great, you're going to be telling them that you are you can help them in this way. Well, are you doing that for your own company? And so, it's the whole like shoemakers, kids running around barefoot kind of thing.
Right. That thing, that old gag. But yeah, it's true.
So how does marketing tie to ROI? That's where you can tie the journey of that customer to, okay, they saw this, they saw that, we had a conversation here. They then went to the newsletter. It's never going to be a straight journey. And you're never going to be able to pinpoint every single touch point that you've had with them. Mm-hmm. But then, at the end of the day, when they purchase, you can say, hey, how did you hear about us?
Right.
That's also a good way to be like, okay, look, this is how marketing ties to the bottom ROI line, is that they heard us through, the podcast. They saw content on social media. And if they talked to somebody, well, how did that person hear about you? So yes, marketing can be tied to ROI, and anybody who says they can't, then they're being a lazy marketer.
I love that. You're just dropping a gauntlet. Don't be a lazy marketer, guys.
Lazy marketer.
Don't mail it in. Like have a plan, talk to your clients, show them the direct line there. Like, don't ask them the right questions.
Yeah.
Not all the wrong questions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's the other thing too, is like, the analogy is like, if you're stuck in the desert and somebody comes up and says, hey, I can help you get out of this situation. Here's all these people who I've helped. That's cool. Thanks. But if you're like stuck and you need, hey, I can help you get from where you are to water. Here's the path we're going to take.
Right.
Here's what I have done. Here's, we're going to stop here. We're going to stop here for shade. And you show them the path. And then you also say, these are all the people that I've also helped. That's a lot more convincing when you show them what you have been doing. And if you want to use yourself as the use case, then use yourself as a use case.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, here's a little step-by-step guide, guys, by the way. So if you are doing your own marketing, your own sales, all that, and once again, if you're of the I've been doing all this activity and nothing is happening, the phone's not ringing, no one's clicking emails, no one's joining anything, no one's like all the stuff, it just feels like it's falling flat, and you're like, well, marketing doesn't work. It's not about the marketing working does or does not work. It's about, are you doing the right thing? So here's some quick steps. Number one, define the goals that you are looking to achieve. We talked about it at the top, especially when we talk about from the financial side of things, the numbers. How much do you want to make every year? You personally, how much do you want to personally put in your pocket at the end of the year? What do you want to make? Number two, what does the business need to make? And ultimately tie all that together. Well, there you go. Now you've got at least like, and if it is the monetary thing, that's a monetary thing. Maybe your goal isn't about money in the sense, maybe it's more about clicks or newsletter signs, whatever it is. Establish the goal, right? Write it out, make it so it's clear, and then that way you can measure it. All right. Number two, understand your audience. We've talked about this 100 billion times on this, and we'll talk about it forever. Who's the audience you're talking to, and are you getting in front of those people? Are you in the places that they're hanging out? Are you talking to the right people? Are you talking to people that can get you to that audience? Are you in those circles? Right? That's the understanding. Like, and if you don't know who your audience is, then stop everything. Don't do one more ounce of marketing until you figure that out, because then you're wasting your time and you're also wasting money. And time is precious, and so is money. but time is even more precious because you never get it back. You can at least get money. Time you don't get back. So
Yes. Time is not money.
no.
Time
So
is time.
stop everything you're doing from marketing and sit and think about it. If you're not clear about it, if you're confused, stop and figure this out, because you need to understand who you want to be talking to. Who's your audience? If you know all those things, then great. Now you can begin to optimize what it is you're doing.
Mhm.
Right. And this is why, too, when you go, well, marketing's not working, it's usually because of one or two things. You're talking to the wrong people, or your content or all the stuff you're doing is not optimized to the right audience. So really look at those things, tweak them. And you're always going to be tweaking, because we're talking about organic marketing, which means it's ever growing, it's ever breathing, it's living. Your change, your business changes. This is going to change. Your audience is going to change. What your audience likes, what their tastes are, what's important to them, that's going to change. Like, you need to have those. That's why you want to have ongoing conversations. So optimize your actual strategy, and then, engage, interact. This is what Lorri was talking about. Like, engage, interact, have that relationship with your audience. Talk to them, ask them questions, be present, provide solutions, be helpful, show up, serve, all those things, participate, make sure you're on it. And then ultimately, what have been the outcomes of what you have done with the people already? Right? Who have you worked with? What are the outcomes, right? What's the social proof of the work, the service, the product? What has happened? What's been the outcome of those things? Because first of all, there's a lot to learn that you can tie into your marketing. But second of all, when you find all that, once again, that's all things you could tie in your marketing. It becomes part of the conversations that you're having with people. Plus, if people are like, I don't know much about it, well, here you go. Here's what it was like to work with me. Here's what this product did. Understand that. Understand what that is. And then always be analyzing and readjusting. This is what we're talking about. At the end of the month, the phone didn't ring. I didn't get any emails. No one signed up. Go through all this, analyze and adjust.
Yeah.
Right? Go through the whole thing. But the thing is, once you have these steps are pretty easy. It's a rinse and repeat, because the more you do it, the more you're going to get it better and tighter and tighter and tighter, until it's like, it's going. It's not set it and forget it, but like,
yeah,
it'll become a lot easier. And always nurture the community. That's the last bit. Like, so how do you measure organic ROI? That's it. Those were the steps. It's actually fairly easy when you list it out like that, because you just look at it and so go, why didn't the phone ring? Why didn't I make any sales this month?
It's one of those steps.
It's one of these steps. Now, I'm not even going to get into sales process. We're just talking about marketing. The sales end is a whole other thing, because maybe the marketing worked, but you didn't close the deal. Well, that's a whole other conversation. We're just focused on the marketing part.
I will say too is that I think that a lot of the shift, and I don't know when it happened, but a lot of the shift came. And marketing is this, because I even caught myself, and I talked with you, Chris, about this, where I even started promoting like a webinar, like build a community of 5,000 raving fans. Well, that sounds very cool and that's fun, but when you need to like keep the lights on, that's not something that's a need to have. That's a nice to have kind of a thing.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But what does that do? Well, while you're in the process of building 5,000 raving fans, you're going to find your next 5 customers. And so if I'm going to promote something, if I'm going to market a webinar, am I going to do this ethereal, vague, build a community of 5,000 raving fans? Well, I don't have time for that. I got to go pay my bills. Right. But if I market a webinar that says, hey, here's how to find your next 5 customers, it's actually the same thing. Because as you're building a community, you're talking to people, you're talking about where they are, where they want to be, et cetera, et cetera. It is that the same process, but also, is your marketing very vague, and are you making it a nice to have that people will get back to later? Is your service, is your product something that like I don't necessarily need right now because I have this pain point that your service or product actually solves, but you're promoting it in this very non-tangible way. And so marketing is taking what you do, your product, your service, it is understanding the pain point, and it is using the messaging that says, here is your pain point, I will help you solve it.
Right.
So make that a tangible thing.
No, 100%. I mean, and this is what I've had people tell me this about, and it's true. Like, strategy is one thing, like, absolutely, but you know what a lot of people need right now is the actual tactical side of things.
Yeah.
What are the steps to achieve X? Now, yes, the strategy that is, but you got to teach them do this, which will lead to this, which will lead to this. Actually, we just did it. We just talked about how to get ROI on your organic marketing, and we just outlined the exact steps. So go back, rewatch this, do what you got to do. But those were the steps to do it. Like, how do I get ROI? How do I know how I'm getting ROI? How do I measure it? We just talked about it, literally right there. But that's really it at the end of the day. I mean, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It's get the data.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into paid stuff and all that, yeah, I get it. But you're setting marketing budgets. It's still the same thing, though. Like, why isn't this paid ad working? Well, maybe the creative is off. Maybe the copy is not right. Did you A/B test it? How many versions of it did you do? I mean, these are the different things that you get into, but it is the same process all over again.
Yes.
What was the goal? Who's the audience? Right?
It's not hard. Or I say it's not hard. It's hard to do, or hard to stick with. Right?
It's a simple concept, but yeah.
It's like, and again, it's like, if I need to pay my bills, posting on social media doesn't seem like it's important at the moment. And honestly, it might not be. But that's one of those things where, like, if you don't have those things going, first of all, you shouldn't be in a place where you're like, oh my gosh.
It happens, though. I get it. I mean, things happen. And
but that's where you go back and talk to people that you have already marketed to.
Right.
And following up, that's part of the whole entire process. So yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's all the fortunes in the follow-up, but always go back to sort of the fundamentals and the basics. So if times are tight, if it's tough, if sales are not where they should be, there's a lot of ways to look at it. So use the checklist that Lorri and I just talked about, and I'll put this in the Facebook group as well. So you guys have that for the group members. And once again, if you'd like to be part of the Creative Marketing Corner, and you're not in a group, I did put the link to where we are streaming out, but you could literally just DM Lorri and I, and we will send you that link. So just ask us for the link. We'll get it to you because it's 100% free. And this is the kind of stuff we're doing. We go live every Friday in the group, and we put it out there, but we do put the resources in the group for you.
Yeah.
So just to get back to it, use the checklist, go back through it. But the other thing to look at then too, at the end of the day is, and I said I don't want to get too far into it right now, but yeah, I mean, it also does, because if the leads are coming in, then you do have to look at your sales process. What is the reason why then you're not closing deals?
Yep.
Because there could be a bunch of things that you are doing or not doing, which is a whole other topic, which we can get into on another Fired Up Friday. I don't want to turn this whole thing into a sales thing, but that is something to look at on the other side of it as well. If you're in your own business and you're feeling this, right? You might be feeling tight or things aren't great. Go back to that checklist, but have those conversations. Go back to your network. Utilize the network you have, the people you spent all this time building relationships with. And that's where the help can be. Break it down, make it simple, make it attainable, make the goals much more simple for yourself. I know we all want to shoot for the moon. It's great. Have the big goal. Have the big goal. Like, whatever it is, I don't care what it is. Have the big goal, but like, just ask yourself, without talking yourself out of it, what's the short goals I can make now? What are the little wins I can get at the moment that'll help me sort of achieve to where I want to be? And let's not overcomplicate it for ourselves, guys. Let's keep it simple. Let's still keep it fun. I mean, it's our own business. Like, we all got into this for a reason. So let's keep that passion. Let's keep that fire going.
Yes.
And just break it down into the basics. And that will help you on your journey when we want to talk about how do I measure ROI and all that when it comes to organic marketing. This is probably the most basic way I think that we could put it,
Yeah, and that, I think that's key there, Chris. Like, let's get back to basics. Like, let's get back to conversations. Let's get back to, like, stop making it so I think also, like, stop making it so complex.
Yeah.
It's like streamline it, make it simple. And it, at the end of the day, every business needs to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Every business needs to market. Every business needs clients and customers in order to be able to thrive and have success.
Yeah.
And it comes down to we are human to human having conversations. And here's how I show up, which is part of marketing. And do you need what I'm selling?
There it is. That's it.
Yep.
And that's it, everybody. That's all she wrote. So listen, I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of this weekend. Thank you for joining us for another Fired Up Friday with me, Chris, and Lorri. We're so excited you could be here. If you want to chat with both of us, one of us, whatever, send us a DM. We're happy to set that up. I know, Melissa, I know you're watching. We're on it. We'll get that going. For anybody else out there, if you'd like to talk with us about organic marketing, whatever it is, we're happy to chat with you. Just send us a quick note, and we will get back to you and send you a link and all that to get scheduled. Of course, we go live every Friday inside our group, the Creative Marketing Corner. So if you want to join it, use the link if you see it in the comments. If not, once again, just message us and we'll send you that link so you can join us here inside the group where we're dropping resources, having conversations about organic marketing, personal branding, sales, all of it.
All the things.
All the things to help you get to where you need to be, especially if you are bootstrapped.
Yes.
And you don't have the budget, but you got the time. And that's what we're going to teach you how to do, is use that time effectively so you're not wasting time, because time is precious. So, all right, Lorri, any final words besides happy Halloween? Or
happy Halloween. No, it's November. And that, honestly, a lot of people are starting to kind of wind down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying to hustle and push hard and overdo it, but use this month of November. Everybody waits till December and they start January 1st. Use this month of November to start reviewing where you are, where you wanted to be, and what then you need to do to start setting habits now.
Yep.
To make January 1st already successful.
Yeah, great point. And I will just piggyback off that. You guys have got 10 months of data. Like, that's a lot of data. 10 months of data to look at.
Anything in the next 2 months is going to I mean, it could.
No, it could.
But,
but I think at this point your forecasts are what they are, but look at the last 10 months of data. This is where you want to use this time. Look at that. What worked, what didn't work, what covers all of it. Because that's going to help you going into 2025, into next year, for sure. Use the time now wisely. This is when we talk about using time. Use it wisely. This is a great use of your time working on your business, not in your business, working on your business. Yes. This is the kind of stuff. Sit, think, look at that data. So, all right, guys.
All right.
Well, hey, have an amazing weekend, and we will see you next Friday for another Fired Up Friday with Chris and Lorri. See you guys. Cheers. Bye.